Yeah, thank you.
That's good. Hello, everyone. So the 18th of April, and today we did speaking. So a little recap of what we did in class today. Here we are. So this lesson, speaking. So we took information from the CELTA book, because we've already finished the TESOL book. And this talked about developing speaking skills.
Okay.
And we learnt that before we introduce a task, we have to think about whether the students are roughly the same level. If not, what should we do for those that are a bit below or above? And we mentioned about in a language school, they have rolling intake. So you'll have some students who don't know others. So this particular activity is going around and asking people, had to find 3 people who had 3 things the same as what you have. 3 common hobbies or items of clothing or something, 3 things in common anyway. So we assumed with rolling intake that this task would work well because there's always people that don't know. We thought if it's a group that's been together for a long time, this task might not work so well. And we presume that everyone actually has a genuine interest in finding out about other people. And we had to look at these 5 aspects. So practical, purposeful, productive, predictable, or adaptable. So we're looking at the grammar. So we want to make it productive so they actually get to use the grammar. So we thought, well, you could teach either as well because that's fairly similar as both, but no, both you say have, but either you say has. And we looked at the teacher's role. What should the teacher be doing when the students are doing this? So I mentioned that a student teacher would sample what is expected and then go around and just monitor, check, give feedback. Appropriate for all learners? Well, we thought yes, but if they're already well and truly good friends, maybe not. And how to finish off? Well, you choose a couple and get them to say what it was, those things that were the same as them. So elicit their responses that they found out and write on the board. If there's any grammar, we'll put that on the board and look into it. So we looked at the practical, purposeful, productive, predictable, adaptable side of it. So we thought for adaptable, you could make it for upper level. You could include, like John and I both like dogs. However, he likes big dogs and I like small dogs. Adaptable means to make it a bit more easy or difficult, depending. Then there's lots of other speaking activities. We talked about these 5 aspects. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for each of them, which I'm not going to do, but I'll put it on WhatsApp for you guys to have a look at. But basically, we had to look at discussion, role play, survey, presentation, guessing game, information gap. Are they all of these? And we basically said that some things, like for example, discussion, role play, you wouldn't say it's predictable because you don't know, especially a discussion. So you'd have to coax them back to what you wanted, whatever the target language is. But for an upper class, maybe you just let them go a bit more so than the elementary class or pre-intermediate class. Then we talked about challenges. So for example, this person, Vera complained saying that the other students were better than her. She didn't have a chance to speak and what we should do about this, which we said more partner and group work. And then we talked about we had to match this, which I put the answers on WhatsApp. So for example, should I correct learners when I first hear their mistake? We said basically that give feedback. Yeah, I think this one went with this 6 was E. So I often give some feedback afterwards and may correct errors then, but I try to interrupt as little as possible unless the error is really, really bad. So if they're doing a fluency-based activity, unless it's a really bad, I don't know, it'll take them way off tangent or something error, we wait till the end. So we had to match all of these. The answers are on WhatsApp if you want to check later. And then we had reflection, which was just look at the material, appropriate, how to make the material maximally productive. So we talked about if you had a book, for example, talking about Melbourne. So you had these little coupons. If we introduce the vocab, we talk about it, listening activity, reading activity, and then writing activity. based on these, looking at a particular grammar form. So you could say first conditional. So if I have a 20% discount voucher, I will, or second if I had, for example. Or you could do first and then second, but still using the same material. Get them to reproduce, say, okay, we'll try the third. So if I had a 20%, I would have. Yeah. So the same material you can use. This says maximally, which means as much as possible. And if you want to laminate these and get the students to use, could be an idea. This bit I'll put on WhatsApp, you can just read it yourself. It's about how to motivate. Yep. And then we had a little bit about various activities. So looking at the activity, what we could pre-teach, what would the target language be, and what would be a good follow-up writing. So if you're looking at this one about green issues, you might pre-teach these words. The target language might be like cause from acid rain, is happening. And the homework task might be, for example, writing an essay. And you tell them how to structure the essay. For example, introduction, paragraph 1 is the causes of global warming, 2 would be the effects, and last would be conclusion. And other different speaking tasks, we talked about what we would do. And then a little bit from this book here, which is about English language. We talked about a dialect, which is defined by someone or where a geographical area, as opposed to an accent, which is a country. Dialect is the idiosyncratic aspects of a person's speech, like Ghana or A. You could say idiolectic speech from Queensland is putting A on the end of every sentence. We mentioned in Queensland they say A. Melbourne's English is a bit more British, American a bit more. Sydney's a bit more American, and we all thought that Tassie and Northern Territory was a bit more Aussie, like as in slang. How speech is different to writing. You can read that. Like there's more interaction, there's more gestures, facial expressions, it's more spontaneous. And of course, it's not recorded unless you've actually recorded yourself. We talked about agency pairs, which means that there's when you're talking, there's 2 people. So the features of speech would be there's agency pairs or groups. There's more than one person usually speaking, unless you're talking to yourself. Prosodic features, the pronunciation features. Intonation, rise and fall. Pitch is your voice, if it's low or high. Lexical features is the meaning of the words. Phonological is the sound. Syntactic features is the arrangements of the words. And non-fluency, you can include vague language, which is false starters, fillers, hesitation, repetition, and the prosodic, which is up here again. These are the intonation, rhythm, stress, tempo, which is basically the pronunciation. So all of this are the features of speech. Yeah, so we're not going to go into too much detail because I'm putting this on WhatsApp. We looked at a written and a spoken form. Saying here there's fillers, there's ellipses where you just leave bits blank. There's slang, there's contractions like close all. Rubbish is a bit slang. Whereas the written is a lot more succinct and grammatically correct and formal. We looked at register, saying that there was high register, formal, neutral, informal, and slang. And we looked at that, yes, when you're talking, we have lots of facial expressions. And there's actually 10 reasons why we speak. Talked about these 10 reasons, which you can look at, and I'll put it on WhatsApp. And after that, register as well, high register, low register. And when we look at register, there's the mode, manner, and field that we look at. The mode is how, spoken, written. The manner is the relationship, and the field is the subject. Okay, and then we talked about how English has changed. These days, people use these sort of words, not Shakespearean English. We looked at Scottish. We looked at slang. We looked at Yep. Southern American. Not always grammatically correct. Nobody don't like. And we looked at all the new words in English. So spoken discourse is changing. And other new words. So crowdfund, post-truth. Oh my goddamn. We all. So friendly is a friend family. These are all new words. And that was the end of that. That's what we did today in speaking, which I'll put on WhatsApp for you all to have a look at. Stop share. Done. Good. So Hema and Angela, you got to see again what we did.
Yeah, of course.
In a very concise manner. I didn't go into it. So I'll just stop the recording. Yeah, that's done, isn't it? Yes, recording stop.